What's up? Welcome into your daily Buckeye Blitz for Hump Day, Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. I'm your host, Joe from the Buckeye Cast, bringing it to you. If it's a Wednesday, you know we're doing Ryan Day press conference highlights. See if we have some injury updates. Hopefully, that would be nice for once. A little change of pace. Everything doesn't have to be a state secret here, right? So I gotta keep pimping the BuckeyeCast.com though, and ask you guys to pop in there. Support the show, get yourself some Buckeye shirts, gear, whatever, hats, all kinds of options there. If you don't see something that you would like, let me know. You can email me, joe@thebuckeyecast.com. Site-wide sales still going on. Get your Beat Michigan gear. I need to come up with a sign stealing shirt. I'm going to get a sign stealing shirt for Michigan week. So anyways, you got to allow like 7 to 10 days, depending on where you live, for shipping and all that. Shipping this time of year is a nightmare. So get in there, check it out, thebuckeyecast.com. All right, let's get into it. So starting off with Ryan Day's question number one here. Will you discuss the Michigan sign stealing situation?
Yeah, whether anything regarding that right now, I'm just not gonna comment on today. I'd rather just focus on Wisconsin, but I obviously appreciate it. You got to ask your questions, but that's just something I don't want to get into right now.
Yeah, not surprised. All right, are we going to redshirt running back Dallin Hayden?
No. I mean, we're gonna keep pushing that this week and evaluate it again this week. We'll see how the week goes, but we're going to push it to see if we can get him in a game this week. Yeah.
Lincoln Kienholz, will he be an option to take over the Devin Brown package on short yardage and goal line?
Yeah, no, he's very athletic, and he can. He's younger, but he is athletic. So we're going to look to see if we can maybe possibly get him in that role. See how the week goes.
Carnell Tate, how is his development similar to those of the previous wide receivers that came through the Buckeye program?
Similar. I mentioned that to somebody just the other day. You look at where Chris was that year, Garrett, Jackson, but those guys, Marvin, Beck, they were coming on as you hit the mid-year, and then the second half of the season is where they really made an impact. And I think Carnell coming at mid-year allowed him the opportunity to be in that same position and kind of be on the same trajectory.
Have you decided on a backup quarterback, Tristan Gebbia or Lincoln Kienholz?
We'll go through the week and give those guys reps and see how that goes. Tristan has experience. I think they might be 5 or 6 years apart. Talk about different guys. But I think where those guys are. One's a more experienced guy. One is a younger guy that we think has a really bright future here. So both at different spots in their career, and we'll kind of see how this week goes. Devin's been getting the majority of the reps with the two, so those guys haven't really got a ton of reps. We do practice on Sunday, afterwards, and allow the younger guys to get reps. So that's where Lincoln's got a bunch of his reps. I think he's done a great job of staying engaged. Tristan's done a great job in his role, but now that role is going to change this week. So we'll see how the week goes, and who knows, maybe they both will have an opportunity.
Have you figured out the issues in the run game yet?
I wish I could point to one thing, but I think it was a combination again, which, isn't good enough. They're very good against the run. Don't get me wrong, but it was, there were times where, there was something that wasn't fit up front properly, or it was the running back, maybe not hitting the hole correctly. There was a couple runs in there that I wish, schematically we had back. But again, I'm just looking at the film. I don't think there was anything there that we just had an extra guy coming off the edge. So, we got to execute it better. We got to coach it better. And, that's on us as coaches to get it done. And, so we'll work our tails off to get it done this week, because we need that balance, and we got to be able to do that. I think they're fixable, but we got to get them fixed. That's the bottom line. And so we'll keep grinding on that.
How do you avoid a setback at Wisconsin this Saturday?
It's that competitive stamina that you mentioned. I mean, that's the term that we talk about in the In the preseason, when you look at the schedule, we talk about where we're going to be, and we knew we had to go on the road this year and be road warriors. Notre Dame early on was going to be a really difficult environment. We knew this was going to be the same way, and so we talked about it on Sunday as a team that we've got to bring it this week. They're playing well. They're a good football team. They're got a really good opportunity to win their side, and we can't let last week affect this week. And if we want to, championship teams bring it every week. They don't have ups and downs and letdowns. So we're not allowed to have a letdown. We got to bring it. And we know it'll be, a night game. I think it's Halloween weekend. I mean, it's going to be rocking. We know that. So, it all starts with what kind of practice week we're going to have. And we've got to do a great job today of getting out there and putting it on the field and first, second down, then coming back and having a great Wednesday and then building towards it. But, that's something that we've talked about for a couple of years now. You've heard me say that, we're not allowed to have a bad day. We can't do that. And this is an example of going on the road, in the middle to end of the season against a really good team. And, this is always a big challenge for anybody in the conference. And so we got to do a great job this week.
Can this team get better at running the ball?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's a valid question. It's at what point, I think there has been signs of that. So we're going to keep pushing, and we think, getting a couple guys back, could help as well, help us become more explosive. So we keep pushing, we believe we can do it. And, I know we can. I mean, the number one goal is to win and be 1-0 on Saturday night, but you do want to see certain progress in areas that you're focusing on. Some of them we have over the season, some that we need to do a better job of. But, now as we get into the home stretch, we got to be playing our best football. We said that, right? We want to be playing our best football at the end of the season. So we got to roll.
All right. Can we get some injury updates? Travion, Denzel, and Emeka.
Yeah, we're expecting to have great weeks of practice out of those guys. Expecting to have them ready on Saturday. I know that I said that last week and didn't quite get there, but no, we're looking to have a really good week of practice and having those guys available.
What kind of impact can Travion have in the running game?
We hope he makes a big impact. Certainly, we know that he can hit home runs, and he did that in the Notre Dame game, and certainly that was a big difference in what we're doing. We have confidence in all of our running backs, but he does allow us the opportunity to hit a home run and be explosive. So that doesn't just happen. There's a lot that comes with that, but hopefully we get a good week of practice and we can go put it on the field. How is
Carson Hinsman coming along?
Yeah, Carson coming in had not started a game before, really hadn't played a whole bunch of football. So, we know that he's got he's talented and he's got a bright future ahead of him. And, losing Whippler last year, forced him into action. And I thought, there's been some really good moments out there where he's done some really good things. There's still things he's growing on, just like everybody, but or building on, and he's growing. And, the goal is to have his best football here now be the home stretch, because there's no way to replace, playing on the road in these styles of games, or seeing these different styles of defense week in and week out. We've seen 4 down, we've seen 3 down, we've seen 5 down, we've seen pressures, and those are all new experiences for him, just like a quarterback would be. And for the center, there's a lot of communication that goes on. You have to get everybody on the same page. You have to handle the snap count. You got to handle the snap, and then you got to do your job. So, got to be able to multitask, and he's growing with it. He's building. It's not an easy job, but again, the goal is that he's going to be playing his best football here down the stretch.
How is Josh Simmons coming along?
I would say it's the consistency. Yeah, I mean, there's some really great snaps of film out there, and you're seeing finish, you're seeing pad level, you're seeing like really high end play. And it just needs to be a little bit more consistent. He knows that, and that's not just him. And that's why when someone asks, is it fixable? I think these things are. We just need to be more consistent. But the talent is definitely there.
What do you think of the progress of Jermaine Matthews?
But he's one of the more competitive guys that we had in this incoming class. He loves to compete, and the moment wasn't too big for him. And now he's got to be consistent. It's one thing to do it. Now it's another thing to do it, multiple weeks in a row. So he did step up in a big way, and he has made a lot of progress from from when he came in. But that's part of being a freshman. It's part of it is, the football part of it. Other part is just overall, the maturation of a young man.
What do you think about Jordan Hancock's versatility, moving back and forth between nickel and corner?
Yeah, we felt like when we were recruiting him that this is what we thought he could be. That we thought there was versatility there between nickel and corner, and that's what you're seeing. Very competitive, very instinctual. And you're seeing it. He works really hard. He's another guy with a great work ethic that is always in here watching film, getting extra work in. He's very serious. He was very frustrated last year with that injury that he had, and so worked hard this offseason, and now you're starting to see his best football.
Do you like winning with defense?
I mean, I think, balls on the 2-yard line. We got to get in the end zone. I mean, it's just ridiculous that we're not getting in the end zone in that spot. But overall, I just feel like, we're still trying to score every time we touch the ball. When we get into the second half of a game, or we get into a situation where, the defense is playing really well, we also want to make sure that we're 1-0 at the end of the night, and that's my job, to make sure we're winning. But that doesn't mean we're not trying to score, 50 points every time we go on the field. We're gonna look to do that. And but as the game goes on, there's certain things where you have to make sure you're not putting your team at risk, and being, foolish.
And why do you like moving Marvin Harrison Jr. around?
Well, it's it takes a lot of work. Takes a lot of work by Marv to make sure that we're trying to maximize him as a player and give him the opportunities to win in man-to-man. And I think if you just kind of leave him in one spot all the time, it makes things a lot easier for the defense to key in on him and do everything they can to take him away. So, we have to constantly be creative and find ways to do that. And that's our challenge week in and week out. The more efficient we can be in other areas, the less pressure, it puts on Marv. So, I know that we have to do a better job of taking pressure off of him, but at the same time, we're going to try to find as many ways as we can get him the ball.
How do you evaluate Kyle McCord through 7 games?
Yeah, I mean, there was, like we kind of felt like coming off the field, there was really good plays, and then certainly plays where, you like to execute better. I don't think that's unique to Kyle. I think there's a lot of guys who felt that way. And he's in a much different place than he was early in the season. He's got, 2 top 10 wins under his belt. And so that there's got to be a lot of confidence there, but there's still room for growth, which is exciting, when we watch the film. I mean, there's things that we did well, and other things that we can do better. So he was critical of himself. We're critical of ourselves as coaches, making sure we're putting him in the right spot. And so, if we started out here, we want to get to here, where are we at in that progression? I don't exactly know, but I know that he's still got a lot of great football ahead of him.
And what's going on with special teams, the fumble, punt return, all that?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, the play a couple weeks ago when the snap cut, blundered, and then this one right here, the bottom line is that those things can't happen. That's just it. And one, it slipped out of his hands. It can't slip out of your hands. 2, the ball bounced, and JB makes the call, points to it, but Lorenzo doesn't hear him. We got to be louder. That's just what it is. And those are 2 strange plays, but they could cost you a game. And so we've got to be better. We can't let that stuff, because that was a huge swing. Even the ball in the 2, we get a stop, and we're gonna get that ball around midfield. We don't, and then we get to put the defense back on the field. So regardless of how that all shook out or took a funny bounce, it doesn't matter. It just cannot happen. We got to get the ball back in those situations.
All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. I like it when I don't have to talk a lot. More of the coaches, less of me is probably best for everybody, right? Just kidding. All right. Hey, don't forget, make sure you're subscribed. Hit me in the comments. Podcasters, please hit that subscribe button. Follow the show, depending on what app you use to listen to your podcast. But we appreciate all of you. Thank you, and talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.